Welcome to Kurt's Kitchen. In today's episode, I'm joined by my special guest, the oldest daughter of our family, Isabella, who is turning 9 today. Happy birthday, Isabella. Can you say hello? And then our second oldest, Peyton, who's 5, who's going to be our assistant as well, 2 assistant chefs. Say hello, Peyton. Today, at Isabella's request, she requested that my wife decorate the house with a mermaid theme. She requested that we bake a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. And she also requested for her dinner, she's been waiting for days, my barbecue pork sandwiches. I'll be sharing with you a recipe that is my Aunt Barb's recipe that's been in the family for our barbecue pork sandwiches. On the side, we'll be having coleslaw, and some of us will be putting the coleslaw right on our sandwich. We'll also be making baked beans the easy way, and this is my mama's recipe. I pretty much took mom's long drawn out recipe of baking down the actual bean to just doctoring up a can of Bush's baked beans. That can be done in no time. So that's what we'll be having for our birthday dinner today and our birthday dessert. Ready for our baked beans. We are going to need molasses, and I strongly recommend Grandma's molasses, the original recipe. I've tried other ones and it just doesn't taste right. Any yellow mustard, any ketchup will do, and salt and onion powder. And we'll need some brown sugar. Outside of those ingredients, we'll need our chopped diced onion, and we'll need about 8 to 12 slices of bacon. So far. Now I'm draining the baked beans. Just putting them in a colander in the sink. And if I go over the colander and make a mess, it doesn't matter. If you have a large gathering of 20 or 30 people, you might want to use 3 or 4 cans. We're going to have a smaller gathering, so we're going to only use 2 cans. Just want to get rid of the sauce that comes in the can because I want to make my own to make it a little bit more tasty. So we're doctoring up baked beans from the can. We're just going to let that sit. We have drained our baked beans. If we have a large gathering, we're going to have 3 or 4 cans of baked beans. We have a small gathering today, so we're going to just do 2 cans of Bush's baked beans. Drain, let those sit in the sink and continue to drain. Chop up your onion, then set your onion aside, then go to the bacon. For the bacon, we're going to need our kitchen shears. So I used to fry up the bacon, and then I'd have to wait for it to cool or burn my fingers, shredding the bacon apart into the crock pot when I bake my crock pot baked beans. This is a nice trick to speed things up and not have to wait or burn your hands. Just cut the bacon with your kitchen shears and let it drop. One of the best pans to use for this is a iron skillet or a copper coated skillet like I have here. But as long as it's a frying pan, you're good to go. So I'm cutting these in about 1 inch, a half inch to 1 inch squares. Just holding it up above the pan while the pan is beginning to sizzle at our medium heat. Cutting with the scissors and letting this drop into the pan. Okay, that was 2 slices. I need 8 for my small batch of crock pot baked beans. Back that down to 6. So 6 slices was plenty for my small batch, and I'm starting to run out of room in my pan. So to be able to fry up more than 6, I would need to go with a bigger pan. Okay, so the bacon is spread as evenly as I can. I'm going to turn this up to a medium-high heat because it's not quite the temperature I want it. And then I'm going to turn it down to a more medium heat once it gets warmer. On the side, I want to try to get them all together if I can with a spatula and flip them. And I'm trying to only have to flip them once. So once they're done, cooked about halfway through and brown on the one side, then I'll flip them all. And once they're about 3/4 of the way done, we're going to add our onion. This is the onion that we chopped up. And then we're going to let that caramelize in the bacon grease. This is 6 slices of bacon, so it's yielding maybe a tablespoon of bacon grease, which I want for the baked beans itself. So I'm going to end up dumping this into the crock pot of baked beans. Our caramelized onions, our browned fried bacon, large bacon bits that we made, and then about a tablespoon of grease is all going to just dump right from this pan into the crock pot with the beans momentarily. Okay, so I've got my crock pot insert out just like it's my bowl. I've got the crock pot plugged in, ready to go. I'm spraying it with cooking spray slightly, and now adding our drained baked beans. This is a small gathering size of 2 cans. Now, this is one of the first things that I first learned to cook in the kitchen when I was about your age. We wanted to take out this nasty piece of meat they call bacon from Bush's. No offense to Bush's, but I like their beans from the can, but I'd like to doctor them up with my own sauce and my own bacon. I got rid of their sauce, I got rid of their bacon, and now we're going to make our own sauce, starting with ketchup. We're going to use about, depending on the size batch you're making, whether it's 2 cans or 4 cans, this is going to be 4 cans. We're going to use someone stronger to do this. We're going to be using about 1/3 cup of ketchup. Okay, she's doing the practice of going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so we got about 1/3 ketchup. Now, for the mustard, the yellow mustard, I'm going to do this because you don't want to go overboard at all. It's going to be using about 1/4 teaspoon of mustard. So you see that little dot there that I put in the middle. And now we're going to sprinkle back and forth with onion powder, just lightly. We already have our own caramelized onions, we don't need a lot of that. And just a little fine with garlic powder. Okay, now grandma's molasses. And as Isabel, if you want to pour the molasses, we're going to start with about 1 tablespoon. It'll be 1 to 2 tablespoons. Whoa! Okay, so Isabella put in probably about 2 tablespoons. We're going to put in about 1 cup of brown sugar. It'll be about 1/2 cup to 1 cup, depending on how much you're making. This is called doctoring up the beans. I'm going to be using a spoon that my wife used when she was a little girl in the kitchen, the few times that she was in the kitchen. Alright, Peyton, do you want to mix that up? I spent a lot more time in the kitchen, and I've actually taught my wife how to cook. So I was about this age or younger when I started being a little helper or a little assistant. And just mixing that up. An optional addition to this could be some pineapple juice, a couple tablespoons of pineapple juice, and maybe a 1/3 cup of crushed pineapple. So especially if this is going on the side with some ham and you already are using the pineapple for the ham, it's always a good optional ingredient we're not using this time around. So it's still not dark enough. So we're going to add about another tablespoon of Grandma's molasses and mix that in. Go ahead and mix it in. And let's go ahead and add just a little bit more brown sugar. Another 1/4 cup of brown sugar has been added. I add 1 more tablespoon of molasses, so I think this is actually probably 4 tablespoons of molasses now. Okay, and now take over here and just make sure that all that sugar has dissolved. Now this is the color that you want for the baked beans. That's the perfect color. All right, so now one last step. This pan could be hot. So we're going to scrape in the onions, the bacon, and a little bit of bacon grease there. Don't do more than a tablespoon though, because you don't want too much. All right, Isabel, time to stir the pottage. So I was so good at doctoring up Mom's recipe where, like I said, she would spend a long time in the kitchen baking down the beans before making them into the baked beans. I kind of skipped that step. I became so good at it. Even at being about Isabella's age, on her birthday here at 9 years old, and then we're camping, and the dad would say, "Kurt, it's time for you to doctor up your beans." And so I go inside and get them all ready and doctored up. I'm ready to have them with whatever we're having on the campfire. So these baked beans have been a side in the family camping trips. Raccoons loved the baked beans one time camping at our state park. My mom had them in the cooler, and the raccoons got in the cooler and ate our famous baked beans and our Jell-O. So raccoons like baked beans too.
Is raccoon approved?
Yep. Raccoon approved. So camping trips, holidays, special occasions, was well on the side of any meat that you're having. But look at those nice chunks of bacon that you wouldn't have out of the can. Okay, so now we're going to put it on the lowest crock pot setting and let it simmer for about 2 hours, and that's about the time that we're going to make a very special birthday cake. It is a favorite cake in our household. We like chocolate with chocolate frosting, so chocolate, and more chocolate. Isabella requested her double chocolate birthday cake to be baked for her birthday, and the girls love to help with that. Most of us would rather have a baked cake at home than having one from the bakery. Although the ones from the bakery can be really, really pretty and cool and themed, we're going to try our best at theming our own because we prefer our cakes. So, Isabella, can you preheat the oven to 350 degrees? Our oven always has the top rack and the middle rack, so I know that the middle rack's ready for the cake. We use cooking shears like crazy. We have a set just for veggies, and we have a set to cut things open like this so it's easy for the kids to pour. Our assistant Peyton is going to dump Duncan Hines. So any cake mix from the store, you don't have to make that part from scratch. So nice and carefully, please. We like Betty Crocker or Duncan Hines the best. But right now during quarantine life, you gotta go with what you can get because the shelves are pretty bare. Alright, so we here in our basket we have some farm fresh eggs that we're going to use in the cake, and farm fresh is always best. It always makes it nice and moist. I like it as like Easter time all the time with all the different colors. We have a beautiful green egg, we have a brown speckled egg, and a nice plain brown egg, and the traditional large white egg in our basket. So these eggs were laid just yesterday evening and less than 24 hours old. We're going to rinse them off before we use them, and we need 3 of these. So Isabella, I'm going to count out 3 eggs and then rinse them off with lukewarm water. Okay. All right, so we're going to crack 3 eggs in and drop them in. 1, 2. What's this, Peyton? 3. Did you say hi, Peyton? Say hello to the camera. She's very bashful on camera, but not off camera. So this is very simplistic. All you do is follow the directions that come on the box. If it says anything less than 3 eggs, though, I would make sure it's 3 eggs. And then I'll show you the secret ingredient in just a moment that's going to make it really chocolatey and really, really moist. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add vegetable oil. So we need 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. You want to dump that in there? So Isabella is measuring out a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. And then go ahead and dump that in, pour it in. And then we're going to need a 1/2 cup of water. Okay, so Peyton's going to add the 1/2 cup of water. Alright, so that is everything that the box says that you need. 1 cup of water, 3 eggs, because Duncan Hine knows best, and then 1/3 of vegetable oil. So now the secret ingredient is chocolate pudding. You can dump the instant chocolate pudding in, just the powder, or you can have a mixed cup snack pack and dump 1 of these in, and this is what's going to make it nice and moist and really chocolatey. So now we just need a tablespoon, and we're going to put that in. make sure that all of this is out of the cup. It's all gone, so we use one whole cup. We can throw this one away. Who wants to lick this pudding spoon? Alright, so now it's time to mix it up with the mixer. Using an electric mixer on a medium setting. Of all days, one of these broke on us, so we are down to one, but it'll still mix it up. Isabella, can you mix that up for us? While Isabella was mixing the batter, I sprayed our 9x13. We are just doing one sheet cake with some non-stick cooking spray and lightly floured it. Spread that evenly. Now we're going to, Isabella did a really nice job of mixing up our batter. It's nice and creamy. It's not runny, no lumps. So we're going to pour this in to our baking dish. The oven has chimed saying that it is preheated to 350 degrees. So the oven is all ready to bake this wonderful batter into a yummy, moist chocolate cake. Okay, now we're going to spread this evenly with our spatula. We're using a Rubbermaid rubber spatula. It has nice waves in it. Looks pretty. Now it's going to go into the oven. Up the batter for the chocolate cake. Secret ingredient, chocolate pudding, snack pack, or just the powder from the instant pudding pack will do.
Okay, so today we're making barbecue pork sandwiches. My daughter's turning 9 years old today, and this is what she asked to have for her birthday dinner. So I'm taking a pork roast, and I cut off any of the excess fat and removed all the adipose tissue. Gonna discard that into the trash. I then cut the roast in half. It'll cook faster and it just will give us a little bit more room. I pierced the pork with a knife and made a few slots or holes. I lightly seasoned with some celery, salt, more moderately seasoned with onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder. Now I'm going to put them in a electric roasting pan or a crock pot. We're gonna fill it up about a quarter way of water and maybe chop up a little bit of celery and onion to put on top. Cover it and let it roast. This is a Ninja. I'm gonna roast it at 350 degrees for a couple hours. Then we'll come back to it once the roast is done, and we'll be able to shred it and season it and turn it into barbecue pork. do check on the meat. It has only been on for maybe 5 minutes and I can already smell it.
The pork roast has cooled off and we're ready to start shredding it. If it's cool enough, if you want to have your sanitize your hands and just get right in there and start pulling it with your hands, or if you want to just shred it with 2 forks, but it should just fall apart. So that's how you know it's done, when it's just really easy like this and just falls apart. So really important to wash your hands because you're going to be using your hands, getting in there quite a bit. After I shredded with the fork, I just finished pulling some of the pieces maybe that didn't shred as small as I like with my fingers. And it's an opportunity to pick out some fat that we cut off the fat earlier before we roasted it, but then there's a few pieces that we didn't get, and biting into your barbecue sandwich. So personally, I don't like biting into fat, so I'm gonna get rid of it. All right, so once we get it the right size that we like, we can go ahead and add it back into the Ninja, the same one that we roasted it in. We roasted it at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half. Now we're going to use it as a crock pot, and we've got it on the lowest possible setting. Ninjas are great, but they like to get a little too hot, and sometimes they can overcook things and dry them out. So whenever I use the Ninja, I always really have to keep a very close eye on it. You can't just walk away like you can with your crock pot. So I'm using it as a crock pot. I've got it on the lowest possible setting, the slow cook low setting. And we're gonna let this slow cook simmer, keeping an eye on it while we do some other things like decorating for the birthday party. This is going to be cooking on low, simmering, getting all the savory juices for probably about 2 hours until the party. The nice thing about the Ninja, after it is slow roasted in the oven, I browned the pork on both sides to make it appear and look like it was on the rotisserie on the grill, and this gives it that flavor and taste, but that is optional. Nice white meat on this roast. There's only a little bit of the dark meat. The dark meat is fine for barbecue pork. It's gonna be covered with barbecue anyways. But if you don't like it, you can always set the dark aside. Okay, so we need to get this a little bit smaller, so Isabella, if you want to help. Ooh, hot touch. So small. most important part of our barbecue pork sandwiches that our birthday girl has been waiting days for and wanted for her birthday. Okay, we're gonna go over the ingredients for our barbecue pork sandwiches. I usually like to use just a little bit of hickory and brown sugar Sweet Baby Ray's, and then a little bit more of the Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce. Since we're living in quarantine life and we were not able to get the Sweet Baby Ray honey barbecue because they're out, we'll have just a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's hickory brown sugar, and we're gonna add some of our own pure honey. Outside of that, we'll be using some lemon juice. We'll be using some steak sauce, ketchup, and you could either do diced celery or just sprinkle some celery salt. We're going to have a little bit of the house seasonings, garlic powder, and onion powder. Okay, so let's start with the powders first. We're gonna lightly shake the garlic powder one direction, lightly shake it the other direction. Going to take the onion powder, lightly shake it one direction, lightly shake it the other direction. The only reason I'm doing this part myself is because you gotta be careful, you don't wanna put too much in. Lightly shake the celery salt one direction, lightly shake the celery salt the other direction. And I know my kiddos here would just dump the whole, about half of the bottle right onto the meat. Okay, so now we make sure our hands are clean, and then we're going to actually get right in there. Since I touched the bottles, I decided to wash my hands. Now we're gonna get right in there and move that meat around. Okay, rinse off the hands. Okay, so now the part the girls can certainly help with, because you're pretty liberal with it, is the ketchup. So Peyton, go ahead and squeeze some ketchup back and forth, 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 back and forth. This is going to end up being about 1/3 cup of ketchup. Now we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of honey. Isabella, if you want to pour the honey, just pour right in, back and forth. It's coming out slow, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that would be about 1 tablespoon. We're gonna put in about 1 tablespoon of steak sauce. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons. Some of the best cooking is eyeballing it. All right, lemon juice. About 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. All over. Okay. So we've done our ketchup, our steak sauce, our lemon juice, our honey. Now we need to be pretty liberal with our brown sugar. And we're going to be putting in about 1/2 cup to 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, next and last is a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce. You want to do that back and forth. This is going to be probably about 2 tablespoons to start out with of Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce. We like to set these Sweet Baby Ray barbecues out on the table and buy a variety of them, about 3 different ones: sweet Dahlia, hickory, brown sugar, honey, and set them on the serving table or dinner table with the meal, and that way you can add the desired amount to the barbecue if you prefer. Okay, this one's getting a little low, so I'm going to get another one for, we'll have to plus some more. We're gonna go with about a half a cup to 3/4 cup of water. And we wanna pour in the water. Okay, good. So now, all right, so we're going to mix this in. So Peyton, would you like to mix that in? Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's looking like it's getting nice and juicy like we want. Alright, the only thing left to do is to put it on low and cover it with a lid and stir occasionally. And I like to let it simmer for at least 2 hours before we dig in and eat.
Oh, I don't know. Is that a boo-boo? Oops.
Let me know if you want more beans so we can scoop some more out. I'm letting your toast down now, Peyton. 1 or 2?
2.
Oops.
Do you want me to scoop you out some more beans?
Is that her last one? A blueprint? Are you building us a new house? You building us a new house? Grandpa said it looks like you got a blueprint.
Okay, you guys ready for the game? It's one at a time with your eyes closed. You guys take turns one at a time with your eyes closed. You grab a balloon, and then you gotta take your balloon to your own spot in the living room so you have your own pile of balloons. And then you gotta pop your balloons and find out who gets the most money.
How? I didn't even see where the spot is. Wow.
So we gotta mark out where your spots are.
Why am I running to TV?
Someone can make 500 here, so we can go over there, so we can go down the hallway.
No, I thought hallway.
There's
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Isabella. Happy birthday to you. Yay! There's Mr. Dawson with a fishy.
This is as much bonus as it's ever been in the entire life that I've been. The biggest tub too. This is awesome! Yay! Oh, let it go, Mommy! Mom, your plants!
Wait, plants?
Your little thick ones.
Oh, it's okay.
The little harder. The jets keep making more. The flight's not gone. We're filled with bubbles. It's slippery. Like you have to be careful to stand up. What? You made the mess. Oh no. Panic!